Have you ever really stopped to think about the alphabet? I mean, it seems so basic, right? But the journey your brain takes to learn it, well, it's this hidden marvel of cognitive engineering. So let's dive in and see how it all works.
It all begins right here. With a simple shape, we see this and our brain just knows what it is. It's an A. It's pretty much a universal starting point for so many of us. But have you ever paused to ask yourself, how does your brain take this specific shape and permanently weld it to the sound A? The answer, it turns out, is anything but simple. In fact, it's a pretty profound cognitive achievement that shows off the hidden genius of the human mind.
Okay, so to unravel this mystery, we first have to get one thing straight. Learning letters isn't just one single action. It's more like a sophisticated collaboration, a big team project between several key areas and processes in the brain.
And get this, it's true. Recognizing the 26 letters of the alphabet is actually more neurologically demanding for a child than a lot of other developmental milestones. It's a quiet little miracle happening inside the mind of every single learner.
So how in the world does the brain pull it off? Well, researchers in cognitive psychology and neuroscience have figured out that there's a core recipe, and it's got 3 fundamental ingredients. Let's break them down.
First up, we've got something called orthographic learning. This is basically the brain's visual system learning to see the letter A as the same, unique, and stable shape every single time. It doesn't matter if it's handwritten, on a screen, or in a funky color. This is the brain's what it looks like department. Our second ingredient is articulatory learning. Now, this is all about the motor speech system. It's the brain figuring out the precise sequence of muscle movements in your mouth and throat to actually produce the name A. You can kind of think of this as the brain's own personal speech choreographer.
All right, so we've got the visual input, what it looks like, and the verbal output, how you say it. But here's the thing, they're totally unrelated. There's nothing about the shape of A that inherently sounds like A. So, what's the magic that links them together for good? And that brings us to our third and absolutely crucial ingredient, paired associate learning, or PAL for short. This is the cognitive superglue. It's the fundamental process that acts as this permanent adhesive, binding that visual shape to the verbal name. This is the real magic. So here's a look at how it all works together. You've got orthographic learning, giving us the visual cue, the shape A. Then articulatory learning gives us the verbal response, the name A. And right in the middle, paired associate learning is the main event, the engine that forges that essential permanent link between the two. Okay, so we have our 3 core ingredients, but just like any recipe, you need a chef, right? Someone to coordinate everything, make sure it all happens in the right order. Well, in the brain, that master chef is our set of executive functions. I just love this analogy. Executive functions really are like the brain's air traffic control system. They're coordinating all the cognitive resources needed for learning, directing your attention, managing information, basically keeping the whole operation running without a hitch. Now, 2 key players in this control tower are working memory, that's what lets you hold the letter's shape in your mind while you search for its name, and inhibitory control. That's the skill that helps you ignore all the other letters on the page and just focus on the A. And as we get a little more advanced, this other skill, cognitive flexibility, comes into play. And this is the amazing ability to switch seamlessly between a letter's name, its sound, and how it works inside a word. This is the skill that really bridges the gap, you know? It's what takes us from just knowing the alphabet to actually starting to read. So we know the how, but what about the where? Well, thanks to things like neuroimaging, we can actually see which parts of the brain are physically changing and specializing as we learn to read. It's pretty cool. Deep inside the brain's temporal lobe, there's this region called the fusiform gyrus. Now, at first, it's just part of our general system for recognizing objects. But as we learn the alphabet, something really incredible happens. It completely transforms. This area, specifically on the left side of the brain, gets rewired and becomes highly specialized just for recognizing letters and words. Researchers even have a nickname for it, the brain's letterbox. And this very specialization is what allowed human culture to take this massive leap forward, letting us share knowledge through writing. And it's not just the visual parts of the brain doing the work. The physical act of writing letters is hugely important. When you write, you activate motor and parietal systems. This creates a kind of motor plan for each letter, which then reinforces the visual memory of its shape. This is exactly why handwriting is such a powerful tool for learning. So,
Let's pull all of this together. What we've just walked through is nothing short of a cognitive miracle. It's the foundational journey that every single literate person has taken, whether we remember doing it or not.
Think about it. From visual processing to motor speech movements to that cognitive glue of paired association, all of it managed by our executive functions. This intricate dance of brain activity is what turns a simple, abstract shape into the key that unlocks entire worlds of information, stories, and ideas. So the next time you see a letter, maybe you'll just take a second to appreciate the unbelievable, complex symphony of cognitive processes that allows you to recognize it. The journey from a simple shape to a whole universe of stories. Isn't that the real magic?